Hello everyone, I'm your host for 5-minute tutorials, where in this video I'm going to be teaching you how to make shaders in Godot under 5 minutes, or Godot, but I'm just going to say Godot. So Godot or Godot. Let's just say, never mind. So today I'm going to be teaching you how to make shaders in Godot. So it's going to be pretty simple, like it's for absolute beginners, and I'm going to teach you everything about how to add colors and how to move the game. So we're gonna end up on something like this. So let's start by creating our new project. Let's call it VFX tutorial 2.0. Okay. So now let's browse the folder. Let me just find my folder. So Godot things. So Godot, and a new folder. So now let's create and edit the project. So 1 second. Okay, now we're on the scene, on the project. So let's create a 2D scene and let's add a sprite. So let's add a sprite and let's give it a texture. So something wrong on that. I need a texture. So here we go. So now we have a really basic sprite, but in order to add shaders to it, we need to add a material. So just go into under canvas item on the property on the inspector, add a new material. We're gonna call it shader material, and then add a new shader script. Okay, so now after you did that, 1 second, just close my window. I think it's causing a bit of a sound pollution. Okay, so now it should be fixed a little, I guess. So, okay, now that we added our shader, let's just click to open it. So, here we are on the shader editors, okay? So, pretty basic. So, first thing first, we're gonna define what kind of shader is it. So, what shader type is it? So, for that, I'm just gonna explain what shaders mean. So, shader underscore type. So, there are 3 types of shaders. So, you can see here. So there's 1 second. There's a canvas item, there's a particles, and there's a spatial. So canvas item means 2D shader. So it basically means for 2D things you're gonna need canvas item. And when you're trying to like add a shader on a particle, it's gonna be particles. And for 3D, you're just gonna type spatial. So for 2D, we're just gonna type canvas underscore item and then a semicolon. And we should be here. We should be really good. So we can just save the scene, call it shader -1. So now let's save it. Okay, so we have the basic done. So now we're gonna add a void. So the fragment shader. So let me just explain what a fragment shader is. So like whatever you type inside will affect the color or the look of the sprite basically. So there are like two main shaders that I would like to show you, like the void fragment and the void vertex. So right now we're just not gonna go in the vertex. I need to explain that as well. So in this fragment, let's do something simple. So let's add a vector for all this our main. Okay, let me just show you something. So for example, let me just show you an example. So color is going to be our color. So it's a property, right? It's a property. So the color of this sprite dot color dot RGB is equal to vector 3 on the 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, like something like this. See? Now it changes the whole thing into a color. So you can basically do whatever you want. It's not actually a big problem. So I'm just going to add 1.5. It should change the opacity, but for some reason it actually isn't. So I'm just going to tackle that problem later. So So for now, you can see that it's working, right? So now let's imagine we want to change only the logo, only the texture. So to do that, we're just gonna first reference the texture. We're just gonna add a vector for all this main texture, which is going to be our texture. So this texture, so which is going to be our texture. So inside the texture, we're just gonna get the texture and the UV. Okay, so the UV and the texture. So next thing what we're gonna do is define the color. So color, so main texture dot RGB. Sorry, RGB is equal to. So what could this error be? So let's see if it's fixed. So when I'm running the problem, you just it's actually should work perfect. So vector 4 or texture main texture. Oh, I just realized. So it's gonna be the property texture, not the version. So texture. So you just need to write like this. So texture is texture. It should fix. Okay, there we go. So now we have the texture of our player, which is called the main texture. So this is going to be this texture. So let's just write main texture. So this dot RGB is equal to mix. We're going to mix the vector 3 vec 3 and 1.1, 1.6. So something like this. So now you might see nothing's happening, and it also gives me an error. So just fix this really quick. So it's a 3. Okay. So let's see what the problem could be. Oh wait. First thing first, I just made a mistake. So first things first, we're gonna reference the texture on the mix. So what is the texture going to mix with? Texture is going to mix with. So it's going to be main texture dot RGB. It's going to mix with a vector 3 or a vec 3, which is going to be 1.1, 1.4, 1.5, and alpha of 1. So this should fix it. So there we go. But you can see it's not actually doing anything. It's just black. So it's because we still haven't referenced the texture with the color. So let me just explain. So let's just write color, which is a property, is equal to main texture. So if I save this process, so now you can see it adds a color. So let me just show you a quick example. Let me just so let me see if I can find anything. There we go. So let me just import it here. Let me just import a custom sprite. Okay, so give me a moment. So there we go. We have a demon sprite. So if I import it here, you can see it's also going to work on here. Let's just put it on 0.5 so that we can see the color. So now you can see it's a bit blue. You can change it to literally any color you want actually. So now it's greenish kind of, yellowish. So yeah, so this is the fragment shader. It like changes the color. So inside every pixel, it affects every pixel in a sprite. So the next thing which I wanted to show you is a void vertex shader. So it's also a simple thing. It just changes the vertices, or like each vertices of a pixel. So let me just give you an example. So for example, vertex is equal to a cosine of time multiplied by vector 2. We just need to be 20.0. So now you can see, okay, so let me just show you. Now it's moving. So let me just show you why it happens. So inside the vertex, we're affecting the whole sprite, if I'm correct. Okay, I could be wrong. Okay, so like take my explanation with a grain of salt, because I cannot explain that well, but I'll try to do my best. So inside everything, like the sprite, it takes the vertices, and then whatever you put here, it changes the vertices. So for example, if you want to make a flag shader, you just need to take every vertices and then like add a cosine, and it will like something like that. Okay, so So I'm bad at explaining, so I'm not going to do it. So let me just show you what the code does. So the code takes a cosine, and inside that is a time. So the reason I put time is because it's constantly changing. Like if I put a number here, see, it's not gonna move. So it's not gonna move at all. So but when I put the value time, it starts moving. So it's like a loop. So the time always changes. And the vector 2 is basically the x and y position. Okay. So yeah, that's the basic of what I wanted to teach you. Okay. So I'm gonna link all of this in the description if you want to copy and paste the code. Okay, or you could just follow on what I am doing. So I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. And once again, okay, there we go. So I hope you enjoyed my tutorial. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe for more content like this. And I'm gonna see you on the next video.